acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather, the Turrbal people of Yuggera land, as well as the Woiwurrung people of the Wurundjeri land. We recognise their continued connection to the land and waters of this beautiful place and acknowledge that they never ceded sovereignty. We respect all Turrbal and Woiwurrung elders and ancestors and any First Nations people here today.
I can't take it anymore!
Good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning, Blurtstars, wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the new Blurt.
You absolutely are listening to the new Blurt. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, and whether you may be reclining in your armchair listening to this on the pod or watching this on the vid, etc. Hello to you. I am the Kegsta, and I'd just like to say before I start the show, coming to you from Wurundjeri country, the Kulin Nation of the Wurundjeri people. Sovereignty was never ceded, always has been, and always will be Aboriginal land. Tonight we have an absolute cracker of a show for you. We will be doing Blurt Around the World, which is what we do every week. If this is your first time joining us, Blurt Around the World, basically we blurt around the world about stuff that is happening. And unfortunately, in our backyard, there's a few things we want to talk about, which aren't particularly great, but there are a couple of good things as well. Wencee's going to have a chat about Woolworths CEO getting grilled at the Senate. I'm going to have a little bit of a chat about the world's oldest beer recipe and how that recipe is now coming back to the fore and creating a sustainability situation in beer making. And it's a really good thing for the future from that perspective. Looking at swapping red meat for canned fish and how that could save thousands of lives. Trump watch as usual. We do that pretty much every second week. And there's always something to watch. This week, we're going to have a look at what the jurors' questionnaire was, because there's a couple of interesting questions in there. So I will probably ask Wencee about those questions and see where he comes back with. Would he have been a juror or not? And also Orange Head falling asleep in court. So that's always good to look at. We've got Across the Dutch tonight, Lego Thieves and what they're doing with their plastic over there. And Wencee's going to talk about the not-so-mysterious caves of Auckland. And in fun facts tonight, I am going to chat about cicada rain. If you don't know what it is, well, hold your horses and you will find out. But before you do, I thought I'd just do this because it's welcome, Wencee.
Settle down, people. Settle down.
That was on 115%. That is going to be so loud.
Apologies to any listeners out there watching live. Hopefully it didn't bust your eardrums.
No. On the pod, you won't have heard that. It will be a lot lower.
Thank goodness for that. But before I begin, I want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, the Yuggera and Turrbal people of the Meanjin Nation, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and future. Oof, what a week.
Good evening, my friend.
Hello.
And colleague and co-host of this wonderful, wonderful podcast. How are you going? How are you doing? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Settling into autumn. It's cooled down a bit. But not bad. Still not freezing.
How does autumn work in southeast Queensland where you are?
Other than not getting the beautiful autumn colours in the trees, occasionally you do, mind you, because there are some trees that have been planted around here, but predominantly they're not. They're subtropical plants and trees. But it doesn't get that cold. For whatever reason, last year was super cold here in this house. And hopefully it won't be as cold this year, but we'll see.
Well, as you know, and I think I've banged on about this before, but autumn in Melbourne and London, actually. Well, London's not bad, but Melbourne in particular, autumn is just...
Yeah, it's magical, isn't it?
It's my favourite season by far. It just eclipses everything else. And My next favourite is winter. I know that sounds weird, but it is. I hate spring in Melbourne. It isn't good. It's
Spring,
windy.
hay fever. No thanks.
Yeah, it's not good. And then I'm not the biggest fan of summer. Bits of summer are okay. The last summer been okay. I can't be too upset, but there'd be a lot of people that would like it warmer. I'm very happy to have it been. But right now, I'm in the absolute sweet spot. I love autumn.
What I love about autumn in Melbourne is when you're walking down the street and you get all the leaves that have fallen and they pile up, and you just, as you're walking, just swish them away, and you just hear the sound and just feel like being a kid again.
Yeah, and you see the kids do it too, You know, the kids just, run all through the leaves, and you just go, oh, I'm glad I'm not wrecking that up. But you do think about being a kid. I think about being a kid all the time, to be honest. It's funny, I had this conversation with someone the other day, which was, if you didn't know how old you were, how old would you feel? And there's many people that have a certain age that they feel most of the time. And I'm coming up to 50. Well, I'm 55 now, but my head so much of the time still thinks I'm 25. Obviously, until I bend over and try to pick something up. And then you sort of realize you're not. But apart from that, it's weird. My whole. Not the way I think, because the way I think has progressed because of how much I've read and how much I've experienced and all the rest of it. But the actual sort of demeanor on how I still sort of see life a lot of the times, I sort of feel like I'm 25. I really think it's weird.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes my mental age is still teenage years. But my physical body sometimes tells me, no, you're about 70.
Oh, yes. Yes. Without a shadow of a doubt. Shadow. That is true. That is very true. And actually, just talking about age, I thought I'd segue this in. But before I do, I'm going to do this early because I always forget to do it. Now.
Think I know what you're about to do.
Yes.
Word on.
That is not what I wanted at all.
No, that's wrong. Sting.
Yeah, that is.
That's better.
All right.
Around the world.
Blurt Around the World. So, brewing beer from bread. So, in Mesopotamia, around about 4,000 to 6,000 years ago,
Blurt Around the World. Around the world.
It was dedicated to the goddess of beer. So we need to remember this. And every time we do beer education, we should drink to the goddess of beer. And the goddess of beer is Ninkazi. Ninkazi. So if you have a drink there, to Ninkazi. This isn't beer, but I'm cheersing you anyway.
Yeah, same. This is cordial, but cheers to Ninkazi.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll definitely bring that into the beer education from now on. But the reason I wanted to mention this is because there's a beer making process, and it's called beer bread. The barley bread alongside grains, yeast, water contributing to its unique flavors. So Toast Brewing in London revived the ancient recipe in 2016, aiming to address the food waste issues by using surplus bread from factories and supermarkets. And we both know how much bread is thrown out on a daily basis. It's absolutely, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. So the concept of brewing beer from bread waste resonated with consumers, highlighting the opportunity to tackle food waste while raising awareness with sustainability. And Toast Brewing's recipe replaces 25% of the grains with bread, reducing the carbon, water, land required for grain production.
Right.
And it's trying to reduce their carbon footprint to achieve their net zero by 2030. Nice. And also it's preventing methane emissions, which we know about, obviously, and potent greenhouse gas, while also repurposing spent grains as animal feed. So, it's a win-win all around from that perspective. they're extending it further to look at, different ways that they can reduce their carbon emissions even further. They're using, they've moved from glass bottles to cans.
All right.
I think cans are easier. I think they're easier to recycle than glass. I think there's
Is
not
it?
as much
I
cost.
always thought it was the other way around, or
Yeah,
almost
look,
equal at least. But
yeah, it's interesting. I think when we do, and that's one thing we haven't done for a long time. Green There done that. We actually haven't done that for quite a long time. So we will definitely do that next week. And I think we'll look at those sort of things into glass bottles. What are the better things now that things are being rebuilt or recycled, etc. Like I had a big M the other day that was made out of recycled plastic.
oh, cool.
But
Still plastic, unfortunately, but
yeah, but at least it was recycled.
yeah, exactly.
It'd already been used. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can drop the bottle off again and get it recycled again, that means that bottle's recycled 3 times. It's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. We used to buy cordials that came in plastic bottles, but when we watched, what was that ABC show called?
War and Waste.
War and Waste. Yeah, we watched that, and when they talked about this particular brand and how their bottles were not recyclable, even though it had the little symbol, but it's not recyclable plastic, we went, right, that's it, we're not buying anymore. And now I'm happy to plug Bickford's cordials because they're in glass, and that's what we use now. Might be a bit more expensive, but we're just trying to consider the environment and hopefully not making the planet any worse by using glass. So hopefully in our research, we'll find that glass is okay to use compared to plastics. Oh,
I have absolutely no doubt about that whatsoever. I don't think that is a conversation even needed to be had. But we will definitely have a look at it for sure. So what have I got? I've got one cat in here. I've got to be careful. There's another rogue cat outside, and she sees it, she goes absolutely mental. So I have to just watch her at the moment. But anyway, we will definitely do that next week. And I look forward to doing that. So utilizing waste bread in beer production significantly reduces the environmental footprint compared to traditional brewing methods. Collaboration among the brewers and bakeries consumers is essential to mainstreaming bread-based brewing and addressing food waste on a large scale. I think this is excellent, and there's no reason that we can't have craft brewers doing this here, and it wouldn't surprise me if some of them already are. But it highlights the need for systemic solutions to overproduction by donating 100% of its profits. This is what I love. By donating 100% of its profits to environmental charities, including Feedback, Toast Brewing supports efforts to end food overproduction and promote sustainability.
Nice. I like that.
It's absolutely fantastic. Toast Brewing. So when we do a beer education again, I'll do some information on that. Just do the old letter, whatever the letter is, and I will. I'll do some homework on that because that'll be good when we do beer education. I think because that's awesome. That's the sort of stuff that we need because we still want to keep drinking our beer, but we don't want to do it in a way that we're killing the environment.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to harm the environment while we're enjoying our brew.
So, definitely not. Definitely
great
not.
Idea.
Talking about not a very great environment, what's going on with Woolworths CEO?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, talk to me.
Well, as you might know, and viewers probably know as well, there's been Senate hearings about the duopoly with the supermarkets over the last few weeks, if not months. I think it started last year, actually. The Greens and some of the independents started the whole process of looking into the monopoly or duopoly between Coles and Woolworths. Today was Woolies CEO's turn to be under the hammer and the barrage of questions. And the Green Senator Kim McKim was not very happy with the answer coming from the Woolworths CEO, Brad Banducci. So I've got a little clip here to play, and let's have a listen and see what happened today.
To answer my question on return on equity, I feel compelled to advise you that it is open to the Senate to hold a witness in contempt when they refuse to answer a legitimate question. I also feel compelled to advise you that that opens up a range of sanctions, personal sanctions, that can be applied against you if that's what the Senate decides to do. Having said that, I ask you again, is your return on equity in the last financial year about 26%?
Senator, I've answered the question many times.
You have not answered the question, Mr. Banducci. Honestly, I'm not interested in your spin or your bullshit. This is a Senate inquiry. Answer the question. Was your return on equity 26% in the last financial year, which is more than 2.5 times the average ROE enjoyed by Australian banks, which are the most profitable banks in the world? Is that true or not?
Senator, I sit here before you very respectfully saying we measure ourselves return on investment
not answering the
and
question.
total shareholder returns.
Well,
both of them around 10%.
So, yes, he got a bit of a grilling there, and McKim was not happy.
No, I've seen Nick go to town on a few people. He's a Green Senator, isn't he?
He is.
Yes, he goes to town. He doesn't hold anything back. I actually really like him.
Yeah,
but,
I think, is he Tasmanian?
Yeah, he is. He is Tasmanian. Yeah, no, he's a bit of a cracker. But I've got to be honest, though. I mean, I don't know factually if their return on equity was 26%. So I have nothing to confirm that what he's saying is incorrect. I'm not saying it isn't, because it probably is.
Probably is correct, which is why I was asking the question. Just wants him to answer the freaking question.
Well, exactly right. But I mean, until I've done my own sort of research, etc., I can't have a crack at the CEO, unfortunately. I mean, I do know that they've made an absolute killing, and I do know that they smash their suppliers as much as they possibly can, especially when it comes to farmers or whatever, so that they can lower their prices. But then they lower their prices, but then they put them up for consumers, etc., etc. I mean, it's just Coles and Woolworths, it's just fucking thieves, basically.
Yeah, just making so much profit out of a basic necessity, which is food and groceries.
What I'd love to know, Wencee, is that we both know how much they throw away, right? And it's a shed load.
Yeah. What
I'd love to know is, do they have systems set up for that wastage? Is it going to philanthropic enterprises? I mean, is it going to Ronnie Khan? Is it going to Food Bank? I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, Food Bank. Is it? You know, what are they doing? I mean, because it's pathetic. If they are just putting it in landfill every day, seriously, they should be strung up.
I get the feeling that the Woolworths and Coles group don't give a shit about all that food wastage. They put the onus on the suppliers or the farmers, and we know that they screw them over in terms of, if it's not the perfect product, then they won't buy it, and they don't guarantee what they will buy in a certain period of time. So the farmers and primary producers will end up just throwing all that stuff away because they can't sell it. No one else is going to buy it.
Well, I'll tell you someone who will buy it, because I went to the store the other day, and it's a fantastic store. It's called Cheaper by Miles, and buy is B-U-Y, Miles.
Oh, nice.
It's a nice little pun there.
Yeah.
We've got 4 around us. We've got one in Kensington, one in Footscray, I think, one in Brunswick, and one just starting out in Fitzroy as well. And basically what they are, they're the food wastage of the big supermarkets. And so go for it.
I was just going to say, is that similar to Not Quite Right back in the day when we were younger? They used to have something similar.
Yeah, in QR. Yeah, look, I think you're 100% right. I think it's similar to that. So I mean, we went there the other day, and you could pick up a 1 kilo cheese, a 1 kilo brie, like smoked something for $10.
Wow. Rather than $40-50 for a kilo.
Yeah.
Or more.
And more, probably. Yeah.
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 Wow.
For $10. I mean, you wouldn't need to feed a family. You'd probably want to take the whole thing and feed about 12 people because it's a huge cheese. It's massive.
Yeah.
But my point is they had heaps of stuff down there that was, they had chocolate down there for like $2,
Wow.
et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, no, they've got cereal in there that is marked down greatly reduced prices. Nice. And also they've got I know they've got a sustainability bent behind what they're doing as well. And I know they also have a charity arm coming off.
Oh, that's good.
There's a certain percentage that they sell goes to charity as well, because they're almost a charity themselves, if you know what I mean. So yeah, so I wanted to mention them. So it's great that you have mentioned that, because yes, that's and so I just think if anyone's out there and they do have a cheaper by miles coming, or they don't have one, write to your local council representative and get them to get one in, because they are cheaper by miles. They're at least something that would have easily cost us nearly $30 cost us $12. So
nice.
That's a pretty big saving.
And I'll put my hand up and ask for one up here, please, in Brisbane. Please come.
Yes.
Or someone have the nous to set one up.
That's it. Write to your local councillor, Wencee, and let them know, and also let Cheaper by Miles know that we're more than happy to talk about them on the show as much as they want us to. So, get up to Queensland and help everyone out. So,
yeah.
Now, as you so rightly said, we've got a few things happening in Blurt Around the World, and as usual, we're running a little bit late on time, but that's fine. I did just want to mention one thing. I know we're not going to talk about stabbings in the Sydney stabbings in any detail of any kind. We just wanted to say from the new Blurt from Wencee and I, all our love and all our thoughts go for anyone involved in those horrible, horrific things. And also, we send all our love and thoughts to the perpetrator's family, because I'm sure that they're going through a horrible thing at the moment as well. So we just wanted to let people know that. So. And
if you are struggling with any mental health issues, we've got some numbers scrolling underneath. Lifeline, Men's Line Australia, Kids Helpline, Beyond Blue. So if you're struggling at the moment, there are the numbers. But talk to people.
We might put the numbers in the show notes too.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, so that would be good. All right, well, enough of that and more of this.
11,780 votes to win the election. No, fellas, I need 11,000 votes.
Losers only. It's Trump watch.
Yeah, look, it absolutely is Trump watch.
China.
And you might actually, losers only. You might not know if you've been under a rock, but there was a trial that just started yesterday, and it's called the Hush Money Trial, the porn star Hush Money Trial. And basically what it's all about is that a few years ago, back in before 2016, Orangehead had sex with some porn stars, as you do. Obviously, I'm assuming he had to pay them. I wouldn't do anything without him paying a lot.
Jeez, no way.
I'm not saying I'm putting myself up for the job or anything, but I'm just saying. But
sorry, I got to get that image out of my head now.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Anyway,
100%.
back to your story.
Anyway, yes, back to the story. So anyway, he's been alleged, but he actually did it. he paid a whole bunch of coin to them so they'd shut up before the election, basically. And it was 130,000. But the problem with that was he said it was legal expenses, and then he paid it out of his campaign fund. You can't do that. It's a criminal offence. So he is now being put into court, and they are looking at trying to get 50 jurors at the moment. But it's quite hard because in New York, where many people hate him. So there's a questionnaire, and I'll ask you a few of these questions.
Okay.
There's 42 questions in the questionnaire, so I'll just pick up some of the good ones.
Yep. All right.
This is the actual questionnaire. It's not a parody. It's the actual questionnaire that they are being asked. Anyway, so it's just a couple of things here. So the Supreme Court showdown. Trump's lead defense attorney requests his attendance at upcoming Supreme Court hearing. Judge Merchant rebuffs the request and emphasizes that Trump is a criminal defendant and you need to be here every day of this court case. So suck it up, Orange Head. Trump's legal team asserts interference with 2024 re-election bid due to Trump. They'll just do anything. They'll do anything they can. Anything they can so this guy doesn't go to court because they know he's going to be found guilty. He's lost every case so far, so he'd be losing another one too if the Supreme Court wasn't on his side.
Right.
Which at the moment they are adjudicating on whether he has immunity or not to do anything he ever wanted to do when he was president. Which obviously the answer is no, but for some reason, well, I know what the reason is. They're nutbags, but anyway. Trump dismisses trial as a political witch hunt and a scam trial against him. Former president continues to bang on and being a little bitch. Expresses frustration over being unable to attend. I love this. It's awesome. I'm not going to be able to attend son Barron's graduation or campaign events. I'm sure he's not particularly fussed about the graduation. Anyway, Trump accuses trial pursuits of catering to the radical left Democrats' agenda. Merchant yet to decide on Trump's request to attend son's graduation scheduled for May 17. So we have Trump maintains stance on trial, labels it as an attempt to hinder his political future, blah, 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 wah, 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 wah.
Oh, such a crybaby.
He is such a crybaby, an absolute crybaby. So he'll be crying even more if he does end up behind those bars, I can tell you. And he has a nice cellmate called Bubba.
So will I. I'll be crying with laughter.
Yes, you and me both, mate. You and me both. So I've got 42 questions here. So I've got couple. Okay. I'm not. As I say, I'm not gonna. I am just gonna. Okay. Can you assure that you will be fair and impartial regardless of your race, gender, religion, or political views?
No, yes, I will be. As I shake my head.
Will you guard against allowing biases or stereotypes to influence your decision?
Yes.
Do you follow Donald Trump on social media? Nope.
No. As I nod my head.
Do you have strong opinions about a former president being criminally charged?
No. Yes.
No.
No.
Do you have opinions about how Trump is being treated in this case? No.
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 So wrong way. No.
Have you read or listened to books or podcasts by Michael Cohen or Mark Pomerantz? No. No.
Yeah.
No. If Trump chooses not to testify or present evidence, can you assure that it won't influence your decision? That actual one, I could say yes. Is there any bias or other reason that will prevent you from being fair? And if this is the 42nd one, Is there any bias or other reason that would prevent you from being fair and impartial if selected as a juror for this case?
No.
No. No. So that's
no biases here.
So that is the problem. That is the absolute problem. They're trying to get 50 jurors together, and they've got to answer those 42 questions. So, good luck with that one.
And obviously, there are going to be some potential jurors, who are going to answer that the way they know they'll want the answers to be, even though it's not what they really think.
Yes, I totally 100% agree with that. Absolutely. That will definitely occur.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's where we are.
Yeah, it's hard to get an impartial jury for a case like this, isn't it? It's near
I would have
impossible,
thought
I would have thought.
Yeah, I would think it's 60%, maybe probably more. 70% of people in America think he's an absolute douchebag. But you got to remember, and the reason I say that is because, quite confidently, is because the last election they only had about 150, 160 million people vote. Well, it's 330 million people in America. So don't tell me 170 million of them are kids.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a shitload of people that didn't vote. So,
but regardless of which way, what you think of him, whether you like him or don't like him, you can't get an impartial juror.
No, you just you know too much about him. So I mean, unless you've been, he was a president. How could you not know who it was? Yeah,
unless you get 12 hermits who've been locked away, living in a basement somewhere for the last 20 years. It's near impossible.
I think you're right. I don't know how they're going to do it. I really don't. I'm not sure. They might just have to throw the jury out and let the judge do it, because I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it.
I wonder if that's possible.
Well, obviously on this channel, on this potty, we will definitely watch this space and see where it goes. But that's going to be on now probably for the next few weeks, etc. So we do Trump Watch every couple of weeks, just to break it up slightly. But I might just do a little. If there's anything that's worth talking about, in the bye week sort of thing where we're not doing Trump Watch, I'll keep my eye on it. But otherwise, we'll keep where we are.
Yep, sounds good.
And with that, we'll do this and crack on with the show.
When you give blood, you're more than just a blood donor. You're the lifeblood of Australia. Search Give Blood and book your donation with Australian Red Cross Lifeblood today. Give life. Give blood.
Hey, this is Hannah Melville Ray from the Australia Institute. I'm listening to the new Blurt with Wencee and the Kegsta, and you should be too. It's on Tuesday nights, live around 8 p.m.
Fish, opportunity to smoke marijuana. Janivar, speed bump, ute. Like, stop stealing my chips, you scared.
Yo, Wolf. Wencee and the Kegsta going across the Dutch on New Zealand. The landing.
One of my favorite stings. I do like that one. All right. I'm going to blurt about some caves, in particular the ones that are under Auckland, as opposed to caves that are above ground.
Yes, that does make a lot of sense to me.
No, it makes no sense, does it?
But they're actually under the city of Auckland, or?
Yeah, under the city of Auckland. So apparently there are over 200 known caves under Auckland, which are remnants of volcanic eruptions. So as the lava came down from the 50-odd volcanoes that surround Auckland, apparently, over the history, the lava would get cold and obviously solidify around the outside, but the middle, where the molten lava is still running, will continue running and then create tubes and caves and things like that. So that's what's underneath the city. So
Nice.
Not only do they know around about 200, they're actually discovering roughly one cave per month in the city. And that's because of the housing development that they're because they're expanding and building new homes. As they're digging, they go, oh, look at this. We've just found another cave. So they're actually discovering quite a few. These caves in the past served as sanctuaries for the Maori. They provided shelter. Also, they're considered sacred places because they were bury loved ones in there or laid their bones in the caves to preserve them and celebrate them in future times as well. They've also been used for storage, safeguarding of food and other supplies for the Maori. Recent uses or usage for these caves include in 1877, a widow took shelter in a small cave and became known as the Hermit of St. Anne's. 1940, a group of schoolboys were exploring a cave and they stumbled across one that contained a communist printing press. So
in 1940, so during World War II,
correct,
they were going into these caves.
Yeah, and printing.
Wow.
And in this case, it was the People's Voice newspaper. So the Communist Party or this group at the time printing the newspaper there so they could be hidden. What else can I tell you about these caves? They've also been used as mushroom farms because they're quite stable temperature, dark, everything like that. So
great place to grow mushrooms, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. There are also a lot of private caves because some property owners have discovered they've got a cave and then they're allowed to keep that cave as their private property, I guess. And one gentleman bought land around his house to be able to preserve that cave so no one could build it on it or demolish or fill in the cave to build above it, which I thought was quite interesting.
Where exactly are these caves? What's the address? I mean,
I don't know if they've got an address.
Have you got a picture of the caves?
I do. Let me just bring that up because let me just add it to the stream. Okay, here we go. So you can see.
Okay.
Yeah, so not all of them are really deep. Some of them are quite. They can be shoulder height. Some of them are taller than like 3, 4, 5, 6 meters tall. They can go 10 or 15 meters deep.
Okay.
Here's one where they've created steps to get into.
Goodness. Oh my God.
There's a gentleman.
I wonder. Ness is in Auckland. Ness is in Auckland as of tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe we should get her to hit the ground and
the caves.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be a few. Yeah. And that's a gentleman by the name of Sean Jacobs who has his own cave that he purchased, the one I was just telling you about.
He bought his own cave.
Yeah, so he bought the land around it, above it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, to be able to preserve that.
Wow.
So not only is it in private hands, some of these caves, but there is some research being done by a young gentleman by the name of Jackson Ingold, who has a master's in he's a master's student at the University of Auckland. He's in the process of mapping and creating a complete database of all the caves within Auckland. And he's working in conjunction with local authorities like councils and the city as well to collate all that information. Of course, the problem with collating, and you don't want to collating that information, you don't want to make all of the caves public because some of those have significance for the Maori people, and so they don't want the public to go there either. So you got to be careful how you're going to promote these caves and how you're going to catalog them and things like that. So Yeah, so
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because sacred sites, as we know over here in Oz, definitely something you want to respect and ensure that you I can't find the word I'm looking for, which is really annoying. That'll work. But yeah, no, you're respecting their history and their culture, etc., and you've got to ensure that happens. So
yeah. So the project he's working on is called DEVORA, which it stands for Determining Volcanic Risk in Auckland. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it doesn't say how long
Very
it's going to take him to map it all out, but considering it's a big-ish city area-wise compared to some small cities, I guess, and the number of caves, that they're discovering as well. It might take a few years, but it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of it. But yeah, I thought that was quite interesting about our neighbours.
As usual, my friend, I believe you and I agree with you. I think it was extremely interesting. Something probably not quite as interesting, but not in the way that yours was fascinating, with the historical experience there, etc. This is just interesting and slightly distressing, I imagine, for some Auckland. Well, sorry, this is not in Auckland. I apologise. This is in Wellington,
Wellington,
which is in the South Island, I believe. Or is that it's the North Island, isn't it? It's the North Island.
No idea.
Yeah, no, it is. It is the North Island. It's right down on the east coast, I think, of the North Island. So Auckland is, I think, if you've got a map there, would be really good.
Yep. Where did you say it was?
It's in the North Island. Sure, it is.
Yeah, the southern tip of the North Island, if I can.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking. So, it's right on the coast there. It's lovely actually. Wellington's a nice place, and it's set up quite nicely. If you come in via the airport, you get a beautiful look at the bays, etc. So, yeah, there you go. That's where Wellington is, and you have to go a fair old way to find out where Auckland is. It's really easy to sort of forget that. Are you able to go across on that map or?
No,
that is just a short. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
and,
so that's
where's Ness at the moment?
Auckland.
I thought she was there tomorrow.
Yes. Well, she'll be there tonight. To be honest, she'll probably be there in the next half an hour to an hour, probably.
It's almost midnight there, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes. Well, it's nearly 11 o'clock, I think. At 2 hours, not 3. So
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Daylight savings
because of the daylight savings. Exactly right.
Yeah.
So anyway, now we know where Wellington is. We also know that they love their Lego in Wellington, and there's some people that love it more than others. And unfortunately, these people love it so much they decided to steal some. So on April the 11th, they built a case against a pair of Lego-loving shoplifters charged with stealing 20 grand's worth of Lego. That is a shitload of Lego.
That's about 3 boxes, isn't it?
That's... I see what you did there. I
don't consider Lego that cheap, but
no, it is not. It is not cheap. There's no doubt about it. It is not cheap. A haul of brightly coloured interlocking plastic bricks was stolen, police said in recent months. Numerous stores around. So it wasn't just Wellington, across Auckland, New Zealand's largest city. So let me just. So it actually did occur in Auckland.
There you go.
So it is being told via Wellington, which is hilarious because the website is channelsnewsasia.com. but it's being told via Wellington about Auckland. So I would imagine that Wellington's more than happy to dump shit on Auckland.
Is that a bit of a Sydney-Melbourne rivalry type scenario?
I would think so. Yeah. I mean, Auckland sort of has a reputation of being a little bit a bit boganistic, boganistic with elitism, whereas Wellington sort of has more of a elitism / hippie.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a little bit.
So Wellington's more cultural, like artsy type.
Yeah, I would say that Wellington is far similar to Melbourne actually.
Okay. So the better city. Nice.
Yeah. Well, it's got really good coffee and et cetera, et cetera. So you do get very, very good coffee in Christchurch and Wellington. Auckland, I can't talk about because I haven't been there enough times, mainly from choice. So the thieves
to get away from the bogans. Got enough of them here in Australia.
Exactly. The thieves constructed an audacious way of pinching sets of the building blocks. In each instance, the alleged thieves brazenly created a diversion in the store by setting off a fire alarm. Jeez, who would have thought that? A 45-year-old woman and a 34-year-old man have been charged with 30 counts of shoplifting. Surely they've got better things to do than just build with Lego all day. The thieves also face charges under the Fire and Emergency New Zealand Act, police said, for using a fire alarm as a distraction. I believe that's probably true.
Yes.
So the police team raided an address in South Auckland. I can tell you now, that is not a good place.
I can imagine.
Where the pair were arrested and some of the stolen Lego was recovered. I'm not surprised at all. The pair was from South Auckland. I mean, they're just a lower socioeconomic area that probably needs a bit spent on it, to be honest. So, Lego kits in New Zealand retail up to $1,500 for a model of the popular Star Wars spaceship. As you were saying before, they're very cheap. The Millennium Falcon, which is made of 7,500 pieces.
Wow.
Lego cemented its position as the world's biggest toy maker in 2023. The Danish toy giant posted results last month of 9.6 billion, a record sum for the family company. The thing that annoys me about that, Wencee, is that I am pretty sure that Lego is not in any way sustainable for the planet.
No, but they are researching the bricks to be made out of more recyclable materials. I know they've tried with recyclable plastics, but the longevity and the quality hasn't been as good, and they don't last a long time. So I know they are researching. They just haven't got the right formula yet.
Well, I mean, they've really only got till 2030 or 2040. They won't need to worry anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, but there you go. So I thought I'd just let you know a little bit about that.
Nice.
And now we can do a bit of this, and then we'll come back with fun facts. What do you reckon?
Sounds good.
Okay. Let's do that then.
Hit it, Chewy.
So, fun facts. Wencee went first on the other one, so I will go first on this one. So, have you ever heard of cicada rain or cicada rain? Have you ever heard of cicada rain?
No, I haven't. And I can't imagine it would be a nice thing if all these cicadas are raining down on you. Couldn't think of anything worse. Actually, I can. Spiders.
Yes, that's right. You could, and you did. This is not as you were thinking. It's not they rain down on you as many
like a plague from
cicadas.
an act of God and nothing like that.
No, not
Okay,
quite
good.
as much.
Okay,
not
good.
quite
Thank
as
goodness.
much. But
Do tell. I'm curious.
But yes, well, you should be. There's a good reason that the Kimberley's dry season is named as such, and that's virtually no rain from April to September. But there was about 3 guys named Tom Bevan, Gus Levitsky, and Tom Hill were all confused by the water coming from the tree.
Ooh.
We thought, how's the waterfall getting all the way from over there to over here? And they couldn't work out where this water was coming from. And then they looked up and they couldn't see any water coming from anywhere. But it was coming out of the trees, and they knew it was coming out of the trees, but they couldn't work out how. And then they noticed it was coming from the bugs, the cicadas.
Oh, okay.
And actually, cicada rain is you're getting urinated on.
Yeah, okay. It's exactly where my mind was going.
A shitload of cicadas. And
gross.
Nikolai Titanic says cicadas are the only bug whose urine creates a rain-like experience for people caught below them.
Wow.
Cicadas constantly drink tree sap, which is why they urinate so frequently. This is quite fascinating when you get past the part. If Titanic says if people are under a tree full of cicadas, they'll likely experience rain. I've just put my hands up there, people, if you're listening. Quotes, rain.
Yeah, the air quotes.
Yes, air quotes. I'll just show you where they are in the forest because it's quite a nice picky, so you quite like that if you watch this on the video.
So is that where the saying "it's pissing down" comes from?
Well, very, very good. Very good, because it absolutely is in this case.
Yeah.
So no, that's very good.
Thank you.
That's extremely good. It was days before they reached the reception, were able to research exactly what the cicadas were spraying down. It was wee. It was bug wee. Yes, it was. Now, I have a picture of the bug, but I'm assuming you probably don't want to see the bug.
Cicadas are fine for me. It's just spiders.
Okay. If anyone's a bit squeamish of bug, it's quite a big picture, so just letting you know.
Look at those buggy eyes.
Quite fascinating. I quite like cicadas, actually. Apparently, they are like one of the first true bugs, as it were. So cicadas are from the Hemiptera order, otherwise known as true bugs, comprised of 80,000 species, which all have sucking mouthparts and mostly feed on tree sap. So the fascinating thing about this was how far they can urinate. So they're particularly partial to water excreted from tree leaves, which they have to drink a lot of to derive the little bit of nutrients. And the excess water is excreted as urine. They're tiny little animals. They don't sweat like we do. They can't cool off. They don't have air conditioning, so instead they have to pass a lot of urine. Right. They're constantly passing a stream of liquid through them so they can stay in the tree and keep singing for a mate. So they spend most of their life underground as larvae, feeding on plants' roots and emerging en masse only to survive a matter of weeks. So weirdly, always happens on a prime number. You might have 3-year cicadas or 5-year cicadas or 7-year cicadas. And in North America, there's a 17-year cicada. It's not prey source, you can predict, and it's not worth learning what cicada sounds like or where to be for them, he said, because they're so unpredictable. The part I can't find there, which is a little bit annoying, because the fact I thought was amazing was the velocity of the cicada rain. It's phenomenal how far. Just trying to see if I can find this.
And is it only
because
this
apparently
particular
they
species
can urinate
that can do
10
this?
feet. Apparently,
So say that again.
no, I don't believe so. I think it's all cicadas, from my understanding.
Okay.
I think it's all cicadas, from my understanding. And they can urinate up to 10 feet. And apparently
Just over 3
their
minutes.
jet stream is stronger than anything in the world, including horses and elephants.
Wow.
So there's your fun fact.
Yeah. Wow. They must have some good, what do they call it? The muscles down there. What are they called? Groin muscles? To be able to squirt it out so it's so quick.
It is. It's absolutely fascinating. I'll just see if I can. Just trying to. Oh, here we go. I think this is the one I was trying to find. Okay. Here we go. So brief. Surprising. Just trying to find. Here we go. So this results in a stream of jet of urine, like the one that might hit your toilet bowl on a regular basis. Duration of urination does not change with body size. It found that all mammals more than 6 or 7 pounds take an average of 21 seconds plus or minus 13 seconds to empty their bladders. The researchers referred to this as the law of urination. I'm just trying to find. I know, to have a law of urination. It wasn't even a contest. Droplet urination used way less energy, so that seemed to be a general rule. If you're big, you pee in a jet. If you're small, and especially if you're feeding on nutrient-poor sap, you pee in droplets. But Cicada knew that the world rarely divides so cleanly. We try to create theories that can explain things in nature. I was just trying to find. I was just trying to see if I could find where the jet is, but
if you can't, we can always leave it as homework.
Looks like I can't. It's just not. Yeah, it's still not coming up. But I will get these links, and I will make sure they go into the show notes.
Sounds
perfect. Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. Well, at least I thought it was. All done, my friend. All over you.
All done. From one animal to another animal, I'm just going to bring you some fun facts about one of my favorite animals, and I don't like saying it. No, hell no. Just talking about it just gives me goosebumps almost. No, elephants. Elephants are one of my best.
Yes, I love elephants too. Yes.
And it's sad that years ago, I didn't think of the elephants' welfare and used to happily go on joyrides on them. But now I will never, ever, ever, ever do that again because it is not very good for their backs and their welfare, and the way they used to treat elephants in most of these elephant camps in Southeast Asia was never that great. So don't want to support that practice anymore. A lot of elephant camps in Thailand have converted from tourist attractions where you can ride them to more about the animal itself and how important they are and things like that. So, but some of my facts.
Wencee, just before you go any further on that one. So you were talking about that you've ridden an elephant before, and you're also saying that you are very sorry for doing so and responded that you did, but now you have the experience to know that wasn't a good thing. I mean, because the elephant's obviously a huge thing, and unless you're a particularly obese person or something, I wouldn't have thought just having 180, 200 pounds on a 2-3 ton elephant was a big deal. So what's the actual problem there?
For me, it's because don't forget, you still got to add all the paraphernalia that they add on top to be able to allow people to sit on it. So there could be another 100, 200 kilos in the structure So sometimes they're metal.
Oh, you don't just sit on the elephant.
No, you don't necessarily
Right.
just sit bareback.
Right.
And to me, it was more about the way they treated the elephants, because they often had the hooks on a stick, and they'd poke them. And often, when you see them, they'd have blood and scars and scabs on their necks.
Oh, that's horrible.
And stuff like that. So
definitely don't endorse that on the new Blurt.
No, definitely not. So once we've learnt that many years ago, we gave up on doing any of those things and try to promote the welfare of the animals. So, but yeah, it's good. Nice. It's good to see a lot of the businesses have converted away from that and treat them much better now, which is great. But yeah, I just wanted to bring some interesting facts of this beautiful, majestic animal. You probably know this one. Female elephants take 22 months from conception to having a baby, which is the longest of any animal in the world. Not sure if you knew that.
But we're not talking about humans. We don't add ourselves there as an animal. Right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't know it was 22 months.
Yeah, 22 months for conception, which is longer than us, obviously. A newborn elephant.
22 months. Sorry, I'm thinking 22 weeks. Did you say 22 months?
Months.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so nearly 2 years.
Nearly 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You'd be a cranky mum by then.
Oh yeah, especially when you're carrying a 120-kilo baby, which is how big they are when they're born.
Yeah. That's pretty damn big.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's almost you and me together. Probably a little bit less than that, actually. Yeah, the average lifespan less than us. The average lifespan for an elephant in the wild is between 50 and 70, so pretty decent.
What about when they're in, say, a zoo or something? Do they have
I don't know about that one. Might have to do some research on that one.
Oh,
possibly. Yeah, I think I've given myself some homework. Thanks, Kegsta.
Might need to put that letter in.
I have. Also, the elephant's trunk has more than 150,000 muscles and tendons, and it's the most sensitive part of their body.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Absolutely something crazy. So big. And they can twist it and pick up. They can pick up things as tiny as twigs and things like that. Probably insects. They're herbivores, so actually they don't eat insects. Mainly eating leaves, bark, fruits, and shrubs.
That's always been a real fascination for me, that our biggest primates and our biggest mammals, even throughout time, our biggest ones ever, even the dinosaurs, were all herbivores.
Yeah, exactly.
Which it's just nuts when you think about it. You're like, how are you getting that big on grass?
Yeah. Well, speaking of how much or how, elephants will eat between 135 and 270 kilos of food every day. That's why they're so big.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yeah, they spend about 16 hours feeding. So can you imagine?
I thought you were going to say shitting.
No, that's the other 8 hours.
250 freaking kilos of food. Oh my God.
That's a lot of food, isn't it?
That is. That's basically nearly 5 of you and me. It's like, put 4 and then another one of us or me, you or whatever. And that's around about how much they're eating a day. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Their tusks weigh about 50 kilos. So just over 50% of me.
And are they protected now? Because for a long time, they definitely in the 90s and the 80s in particular, and before that, elephant tusks were sought after for aphrodisiac bullshit and just crap like that. Is that still happening, or is that?
I don't believe so. I think most countries that have elephants in the wild have banned it, but doesn't stop the poachers from killing the animal or or cutting them even when they are alive. So I'm pretty confident it will be. It sounds like I got more homework.
I remember years ago we used to have a chess set. It was an amazing chess set. We picked up in Bangkok when I was, I can't remember. I was I think I was about 7 or 8. It was the second time we'd already come out to Australia and we went back and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, on the way back, I remember we went to Bangkok in Thailand and at the airport, and Mum bought a chess set. I remember it being ivory. It was a beautiful chess set. It was black and sort of and bony. It wasn't white as such.
Right.
And I obviously didn't have a clue at 7 what that meant, apart from the fact that I thought they were, nice chess pieces. But and I imagine my mum was a pretty smart mum. I would just it surprises me that she would not have known that they were tusks. But
and it's probably just it was just a given that it was a done thing at the time, and you just never questioned it, probably.
That's
at the time.
Yeah, you're right. You are right, and that's why, as you say, we need to question all this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what we're trying to do with our kids, to teach them some of these things that, when I was a kid, didn't even think about. So,
well, your kids are hardly kids anymore.
No, one's an adult and the other one's nearly there.
Yeah, that's right.
I've got a couple more interesting facts. They can hold almost 20 litres of water in their trunks at any one time. That's quite a lot of water.
20 litres of water, that is a crap load of water.
Isn't it? The African savanna elephant, which is the world's largest land animal, the males can reach 3 meters in height and almost 6,000 kilos in weight. So that's 3 cars.
That's a big animal,
isn't it?
It is a big animal.
Yeah,
oh my
massive.
God, it's just huge, just ginormous.
One of the most fascinating things I didn't know about, and this one really got me, an elephant's skin is 2.5 centimeters thick, or 1 inch in the old measure, in most places, and the folds and the wrinkles in their skin can retain up to 10 times more water than flat skin does, so it helps them cool down.
Wow. That is so does that mean as you and I get older, we'll be able to cool down easier?
Yeah, just dip ourselves in water or spray some water on us and we'll just stay cool because,
just have all these wrinkles everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And folds of skin.
Yeah. Exactly. And the last piece of fact was elephants communicate in a variety of ways, including sounds like trumpet calls, which are sometimes too low for people to hear. They also use body language, touch, and scent. They can also communicate through seismic signals via the ground, which they detect through their bones.
Beautiful. That is awesome. No, those fun facts are sensational.
Beautiful creature. No wonder I love them.
It's why I always enjoy doing fun facts.
Yeah.
Always learn something new, always fun, and always interesting, which is pretty much what the new Blurt is all about. So if you have enjoyed yourself tonight, tell others, let other people know, and join the new Blurt revolution. We are collecting people one at a time.
Exactly. And you can subscribe at any of the links below. We're on Substack, we're on Twitter, Insta, Spoutable, Blue Sky, if anyone uses Blue Sky in Australia.
Yeah. I can tell
Threads.
You no one does. I've gone on to Blue Sky, nothing's happening.
No, it's pretty US centric, isn't it?
Every time I go in there, all I see is another update to Blue Sky. I'm like, yeah, good luck. Good luck.
Yep, exactly.
Fantastic. Oh, look, absolutely awesome as usual. What's your name? Wencee. And it's been a fantastic show. And
no worries, Barry. Thanks for that.
That's all right. No problems at all. I have my computer telling me things at the moment, which is not good. So
time for a sign off then. If your
about.
internet.
No, nearly. No, not that. It will be all right. Just give me a second. Right, I just have to. I know it's a little bit unprofessional, but there you go. What can you do? So that's all good. Yes. So that's your lot, people. We will see you next week. Good night. Go Pies. See you, Wencee.
Go Pies, and it's good night for me.